Welcome to Designed for the Creative Mind, a podcast for interior designers and creative entrepreneurs to run their business with purpose, efficiency, and passion. Because while every design is different, the process should remain the same. Prepare yourself for some good conversations with amazing guests, a dash of Jesus, and a touch of the woo-woo, and probably a swear word or two. If you're ready to stop trading your time for money and enjoy your interior design business, you are in the right place. I'm your host, Michelle Lynn. Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. I'm so happy you're here today because I have one of the nicest guys I've ever met on the show today. And you might be familiar with him because he also hosts an interior design business podcast. I have Rick Campos with the Design Biz Survival Guide podcast. He also hosts retreats. He's launching a new platform for education for designers and is just an overall great supporter of our community. So, Rick, thank you so much for being here.
Michelle, thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be a part of your podcast. Congratulations, by the way. It's kind of cool to be on the other side of the microphone. So let's do this.
I'm excited. And let's just dive right in. But let's first understand who you are and where you came from. So you started in the design industry and you have evolved and done a little bit of a pivot.
Yeah, for sure. So I started in the design industry about 15 years ago, right out of design school. I knew immediately in design school that I wanted to launch my own design business, which I did in 2007. And I ran my own small design business for a few years. Some things were happening in 2007, 2008. But I managed to keep my head above water and I learned a lot about the business of design. A few years into that, I partnered with another design professional where I spent about 7 years, and we worked in the high-end luxury market. So it was really incredible experience, and I really, really enjoyed it. I always say it's kind of like the job that most designers would kill for. And I learned a lot there as well. But one of the most important things that I learned there is that I kind of wasn't in the right place. So I knew I was in the right industry, but I just wasn't doing the right thing. And so my current business, Design Biz Survival Guide, really kind of came out of necessity. I had to sit down and ask myself, what is it about the business that you really, really like? Because I didn't want to leave the industry. I just didn't want to do what I was doing anymore. And
so the actual design itself is not what you were waking up passionate for?
Yeah, the design was fun. Running the business was more fun and more interesting and definitely more
which is one of the reasons why we're friends.
Exactly. So, that part was really more interesting to me than everything else. To be very honest with you, the clients really kind of burned me out as well. At that level of design, the clients are kind of like times 10.
Yeah, because you were doing like super duper high-end luxury.
Yeah. And I mean, the clients at every level, can be a challenge. But I really think that at that caliber of design and dealing with that caliber of client, you really got to have some seriously thick skin. And I learned some things about myself, and I have pretty thick skin, but at the end of the day, I just wasn't feeling good about it. So I knew that I didn't want to leave the industry, but I had to figure out how I could stay in the industry and eliminate the clients from the
equation.
Yeah, for sure.
That makes sense. It is. It's a lot of work just juggling all the personalities and all of the different demands and necessities and so forth, just in any level of design, the personal interaction. And that's funny that you say that because I love building a beautiful room as much as I love building a beautiful business. But I'm the same way personally. It's like, I don't want to interact with the clients for that long and for that level of detail. So, it's funny. It's like everything's great except for the clients.
And so they're really cut out for it. And
oh my gosh, my designers are amazing. Like they can't imagine doing anything any differently, and they don't like the business of the business. So, I'm blessed in both respects. So now with the Design Biz Survival Guide, what's your favorite part of the job?
Well, my favorite part about Design Biz Survival Guide is that I'm kind of control of my own. I'm in control of my own business, which I absolutely love. And I'm able to apply so many of the things that I learned over the years. But probably the very best thing about my new business format is that I'm able to help people. And
Mhm.
so I'm able to support the design community. I'm able to help fellow designers through my consulting services. I'm able to inspire and inform other designers through the podcast. And, I'm able to really help design professionals make major changes and pivots in their life and career through our retreats. So to me, this is far more fulfilling than my very best day as a designer.
Lifting others is a beautiful way to end the day when you know you've impacted somebody's life and the trajectory of their business.
100%.
That's exciting. So which leads us to a really simple question: is why is what you do important to interior designers? Like why?
I'll tell you why. Well, I think that the reason that what I provide is so important to interior designers and the design community is because having been there, I know what it's like, you know what it's like, and probably many
Mhm.
people that are listening know what it's like to not have that resource, to not have that mentor, to not have that sounding board. And, as a design professional, it's challenging enough. But as a entrepreneur and a business owner, it's even more challenging. And so I think it's important that the design industry has resources like mine and yours to help support fellow designers and kind of inform them. I try not to use the word educate too much. That's what design school's for. That's what college is for. But I really focus on informing, inspiring, and empowering design professionals.
Oh, I love that. And I think that that's our listeners might say, well, Michelle, you're a quote unquote interior design business coach. Rick is an interior design business coach. Like, why are you guys on and supporting each other? And
Mm,
I think that leads to one of the key tenets that you and I really believe in, and that is community over competition. So this industry is sometimes so secretive and so harsh because there's such a scarcity mentality, maybe.
mhm.
But the interior designers that we teach, and like I'm still a practicing interior designer with my firm, they're not our competition. Like, you're not my competition. We are elevating together. Like, let's talk a little bit about that. It's like the
Yeah.
shared belief that we have in regards to the community of our industry.
Absolutely. I think that's why you and I will be best friends forever, is because we truly do share that belief and we honor
That, and
it.
you're one of the nicest guys ever.
And there's that. But really, I mean, the fact that we share that, that vision, that understanding, and we really honor it. The community over competition really is the entire foundation for Design Biz Survival Guide. It's what prompted the podcast. It's what prompted the other services that are available on the platform. It is really just to kind of support that message. And you're right. Yeah, you and I kind of do the same thing, but not really. And there has to be more than you and I. There has to be hundreds of us. There has to be thousands of us,
Mhm.
because you and I cannot service the entire design community. And every designer has different needs and is inspired in different ways. And so just like, there's hundreds, if not thousands of designers in every city, there needs to be hundreds, if not thousands of us to support our design community. So,
Yeah.
and I still hear it all the time. And I always try to dispel it. You were one of the most important speakers at my most recent retreat, yet you and I
Thank you.
seem to do something so similar. And it's not about, hey, if I invite Michelle to my retreat to speak to my attendees, are they going to hire her instead of me? It's really about me saying, listen, there's more out there than just me. And I want to share and expose you to everything that's out there, including Michelle and everyone else that's doing it. And I'll continue to do that.
Yeah, and I think that translates. I'm hoping that what we see is this group that's emerging of thought leaders and educators and influencers and so forth in the design industry on the business side, will take that mentality and trickle it down into the designers that we have the honor of leading. So if somebody's listening to us as leaders in this industry from the business side, I hope that this audience hears that it should trickle down into the design community directly, designer to designer. You are not competition. You might offer the same, if not similar, services, but it's a completely different personality. It's a completely different experience. I'm friends with interior designers around town, and they're not going to hire her because they want to hire me. They're not going to hire me because they want to hire her because of different personalities. Same thing for us. So the whole competitiveness or cattiness within the industry in some pockets, I think is hopefully going to trickle to stop. Like, let's put an end to this. Let's build each other up. Let's focus on community over competition, because nobody understands this business like somebody who's in the business.
That's right. That's so true.
Like, my husband doesn't understand it. Your husband doesn't understand it. It's like, this is not something you can go home and grouch about, and they really get it.
Right. We really need this as a design community because no one gets us better than us. And, I totally agree that that the industry has always been plagued with this level of secrecy. But I'm happy to report that my observation over at least the last 10 years that I've really been paying attention, that really has been kind of going away, and the rise of this design community has really kind of begun. And more and more designers are really into helping each other and sharing information, because I mean, at the end of the day, there are no secrets in this industry. I mean, we all do it differently. I always say that we're not competitors, we're allies. And, there's a designer out there for every client, and every business is different. So why not talk about it, and why not compare notes and help each other, save each other from some of the heartache associated with, running your own business.
Yeah. It's not for the faint of heart.
No.
Like, if anybody would have told me how hard it was when I first started my business, I don't know if I would have had the balls to do it. But I am glad to hear that your observation over the last 10 years is that, the rising tide lifts all boats. I think Kennedy said that a long time ago, but I'm sure a lot of it has to do with your podcast and your thought leadership and the changes that you've impacted with the individuals that you've worked with. Let me interrupt myself to take a quick moment to thank Satinoff Insurance Agency for sponsoring this episode of the Designed for the Creative Mind podcast. Their support and understanding of the interior design, decorating, and home staging industries is unrivaled. Satinoff understands what our businesses do, and they provide insurance that lets me sleep at night. Yep, this is the firm that I use, and they will do the same for your sleep habits and your business too. They're more than an insurance agency, they're an extension of my business. They take care of the worry because they are the experts, which allows me and my team breathing room to do what we do best, design beautiful spaces. You can find their contact information below in the show notes. Give them a call today. All right, Rick. So before we get to the next little segment of this podcast, what are 3 pieces of advice that you would want to leave our listeners with?
Just 3?
We're trying to keep this short and sweet.
All right. If I have to narrow it down to just 3. No, I would definitely say my first piece of advice to everyone that's listening is to explore the industry, explore all of the different facets associated with design and the business of design, and really kind of know what's out there. Don't pigeonhole yourself into something that you learned in design school or that everyone around you is telling you that design should be. So I would definitely say,
I love that.
Explore, yeah. And then my next piece of advice would be to not settle. Don't settle. That learning that lesson is really what prompted the development of Design Biz Survival Guide and has put me on my current course. And a lot of times we don't realize that we're settling until we're such a mess, and you really have to look inward and understand, like, how did I get here?
It's like a bad relationship.
I know, exactly.
It started off really nice. He was cool.
It's a lot like a bad marriage, I'm telling you. And I felt like when I was evaluating, where I was in life and why I was there, I'm like, Rick, dude, you are just totally settling right now. Like, where's the fire? So, don't settle, don't lose that fire. And then I guess my final piece of advice would be to pay it forward. I mean, these experiences are relatable to everyone in life and business. And I really feel strongly that as you learn these lessons, it's important to share and help other people, because you're not alone. We are not alone. And so, no matter where you're at in your business and where you're at in life and how good it is or how bad it is, it's definitely relatable to the people around you. And, I encourage everyone to pay it forward by sharing those experiences and helping other people learn from them.
Oh, I love that. So explore, like basically be nosy and just get out there and see what lights your fire.
Heck yeah.
Don't settle. And we also, I think, I'm going to kind of dovetail off of that, is you don't have to do what everybody else is doing.
No.
Like, don't settle, follow your own passion in your own direction, whether it's an aesthetic or like your branding or whatever the case may be. If you just want to specialize in interior design for yachts, like, doesn't mean that you have to do homes.
Right.
So I think that's more applicable in your market than in mine. Texas has very few yachts available. And then also pay it forward. And I love that. I think that is so true. I think living is giving. Or giving is living. You can turn it around either way. It's just such a way to find some additional fulfillment. And paying it forward could be sharing our experiences, but it could also be sharing our talents and donating our time to individuals who don't have the benefit of hiring a luxury designer. There's all sorts of different places around every city, I'm sure, that can benefit from a couple of hours of interior design genius. So right. I love that. All right.
Check.
Now, I love to talk about all things business and development related, but I also like to have a little bit of fun. So what I'm creating in this podcast is going to be a little segment called Rapid Fire, and it's just a Q&A format to get to know you a little bit better. So nothing's off the table, and feel free if you want to hit back. I'm game. But let's just shoot from the hip. Let me ask you, are you left-handed or right-handed?
I am right-handed.
What is your favorite book?
My favorite book, oh my gosh, probably anything by Simon Sinek.
Oh yeah, yes. Okay. Red or white wine?
Red wine only.
Only.
White wine gives me a headache.
Yeah, that's true. What about Prosecco?
Nothing bubbly.
Okay, good to know. Beach or mountains?
Definitely mountains. I'm at the beach now, so I'm over it, and I'm looking forward to a transition, and I see mountains in my future.
We're going to have to talk offline about that. Do you have a consistent morning routine?
I used to, and then COVID screwed it all up, but I'm trying to get back. I'm trying to get back into it, and I'm constantly evaluating other leaders' routines to see if I can maybe enhance my own. But, I do get up in the morning. I work out every morning. I used to go to my gym every morning. I was the first one there at 5 a.m. But now that it's closed, I have kind of like a home routine that I've been slacking on. But yeah, I basically get up. I'm an early riser, and I work out. And
what's early?
I try not early. I'm usually up about 4:30 or 5.
Oh, and then, so I could be texting you from Texas, and you would be awake.
Oh, absolutely. But don't even bother after 9 p.m. because I'm sound asleep. So.
Oh my gosh, yes, I understand that completely. Oh, how fun! So, if you could have one superpower, what would it be?
A superpower. Oh my gosh, that's a tough one. Probably. Gosh, I mean, back when I was designing, I would say it would be, the ability to read people's minds, so I'd really know what their budget was. But I don't have to worry about that so much anymore. Superpower. I don't know. I'm not sure if I could really pick one. I'm not.
That's all right.
Powers.
We'll just get you a cape anyway. All right. Well, Rick, thank you so much for being on the show today. I'm certain that our audience has loved everything that you've shared. Will you share how people can find you? How can they connect with you? Also, like you just launched this this member vault that I'm so excited about, and you've got this course coming up with your books and so forth. So tell us all about that.
So there's all kinds of great ways to find me and reach out to me. Probably the best and most accessible way is through my website, which is designbizsurvivalguide.com. Everything that you need to know about me is on there. You have direct access to the podcast. You're able to navigate through the website and learn about the retreat, which is our awesome 2-day retreat in Palm Springs that's happening again this October in Palm Springs. And then you can also learn about my consulting, and that's where you can sign up for our newest extension of the platform, which is Member Vault, which is basically a pay-to-play monthly subscription. And that's where we load it up with all kinds of cool additional resources, behind the scenes podcast episodes, things that you don't hear on the podcast. We have a super cool book club. We do virtual roundtables, all kinds of fun stuff. So everything you really need to know about me is on there. And then, of course, on Instagram for your daily inspiration. And it's Design Biz Survival Guide. Yeah.
Gotta love the gram.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and maybe we'll be on Clubhouse soon too.
We got to try that.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that after this too. Okay. Then I will make sure that all those details are listed in the show notes for our audience to reference. And for those of you who can benefit from even more resources surrounding the business of running your interior design business, don't hesitate to join the growing community on Facebook's private group. It's called the ID Biz Launchpad. It's the Interior Designers Business Launchpad. I get in there weekly and give you a little bit of training. So until next time. Hey, y'all. If you love the show and find it useful, I would really appreciate it if you would share with your friends and followers. And if you like what you're hearing, want to put a face with a name, and get even more business advice, then join me in my Facebook group, the Interior Designers Business Launchpad. Yeah, I know, it's Facebook. But just come on in for the training and then leave without scrolling your feed. It's fun. I promise you'll enjoy it. And finally, I hear it's good for business to get ratings on your podcasts. So please drop yours on whatever platform you use to listen to this. We're all about community over competition. So let's work on elevating our industry one designer at a time. See you next time.